last year. Last year, and you've released a live album since then. It's unusual for a band to release a live album when you've only got one studio album, isn't it?
I don't know, but we just wanted to kind of keep the momentum going, and also because we felt like we're kind of a live band, so it's a good way to sort of get that out there as well, so people can hear the live as well as the studio element. And it's also a lot of bands we liked back in the 60s and things like that. A lot of them released live albums too, so it was kind of inspired by that.
Right, yeah. And have you started work yet on the second studio album?
Yeah, we did. We started recording about half a year ago, maybe. And it's not finished, but we're working on it, and
It's kind of a slow process because we just go to the studio whenever we have time when we're home, in between all the touring and stuff. So we haven't really set aside a block of time to just finish the album.
Right, yeah. And certainly you do seem to tour a lot. And was it 5 gigs in London in the last year? Most bands do one in London in a year. Some do 2. 5. And you keep.
I don't think we planned on it, but it sort of went well. We did this tour with the Rival Sons, and that sort of gained some fans and things like that. And then we came back on our own, and those shows got bigger. And so it just sort of made sense to keep coming back.
Yeah, and it's surprising in that you keep coming back. You expect the audiences to drop off a little bit, but no, you're still packing out the venues. I was at the show at Islington last month, and absolutely packed out. It's really impressive. So I'm imagining next time you come over, once the second album comes out, it's going to be bigger venues, and again, you'll feel those.
Hopefully. But I think it's time to get a new album done.
And how do you think your show went today? Because you played over on the second stage a little bit, only about half an hour ago.
I thought it was surprisingly well. We played pretty early, but there was a lot of people. The crowd really filled up, and it was really cool.
Yeah, I came over and there was a really good crowd. So it must be quite a relief when you come out on stage and there are lots of people, rather than coming out it's just where is everybody?
Yeah, I was kind of surprised. They don't really come until the last second too, so you don't really know what it's going to be like until you're up there. But
no, and I suppose the thing with the festivals, people can be watching a band on one stage, and then it's they finish now, head over to that stage, and it always depends as well, because people who might want to come and see you, they also want to see the band who's playing on another stage, and it's just which one do I go and see?
Yeah, it's always tough if there's almost a competition or something. You're competing with who else is playing at the same time, but it was a pleasant surprise. There was a lot of people there.
Right, yeah. And when you're writing the songs, do you have one or two main writers, or do you all sort of throw in ideas?
Well, it's kind of different. The first album maybe was more me and Elin, and then we sort of rearranged in the studio and things like that, and we wrote most of the lyrics together. But this album, it's more arranged in the studio than the last album. So everyone's contributing.
Right, yeah. And how do you record? Do you sort of record each part separately, or do you tend to play it more as a live thing?
We record live, but the main tracks, the guitar, bass, drums, and even vocals. But we pretty much we redo the guitars and the vocals, and so that's how we do. So we're playing together, but then we
do overdubs and things like that.
So we still keep the live feeling on the drum and the bass sticks, and
Yeah, because you talk to some bands and they are hardly even see each other in the studio. It's like, oh, the drummer goes in and records his part, then the guitarist will go in and do his bit, and they sort of see each other as they pass, but that's about it.
Yeah, like the thing is, we also are recording all analog, so it's like almost impossible to do it that way.
Right.
I guess when you have a computer, you can use metronomes and like all this and edit and things. But when it's analog, it needs to, the main track has to be basically played together, because the drummer can't just go in and play by himself to nothing.
No. And why did you choose analog rather than digital?
I mean, it's kind of like the workflow and everything is, it's kind of, we prefer it, I guess. Also the kind of music we play, it keeps the music more natural, because you can't really like change a lot of things with the computer, and like what you put on the tape is what you hear,
Yeah.
And
It's kind of a different way of working, kind of, because then you have to get the sound really good at first, and then because you can't really fix so much as you would with the computer, and sound-wise, it's also a big, in our ears, a big difference.
Puts a bit more pressure on you then, because you've got to get it right first time.
Yeah, you can still do some takes, but still, it's a bit more. It's there's not as much fixing.
that's kind of like the limitation can be a good thing, because you're focusing more on the music instead of relying on the computer. Like if you make a mistake and you just think like, oh, we'll fix it or something.
Yeah, instead of spending the time of choosing which guitar track within 50 takes, we spend more the time of what to play. And then get that one take that's good and move on, kind of.
And I would imagine with digital there's also a temptation, because you can change something, then there's a temptation, just just tweak that little bit and then change this little bit, and rather than having that natural sound. And you've got quite a few festivals and gigs this summer, and I was looking at this. You're playing a lot. Just be 2 seconds, what are your plans for later in the year after the summer festivals?
Finishing the album.
Yeah, we're just gonna finish the album, and then from then we're not gonna do almost anything for the rest of the year. We're ready to just take a break for a while.
A well-deserved break. Okay, that's great. Thanks very much for your time, guys. Thank you.